Shalom. First and foremost, I want to begin by giving all praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh Bashmi Awashai, Bashem Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great Muslim of well, and shalom to the elect. Okay, and pretty much, in the news, man, you've had things going over there in Canada, in Ontario and Ottawa, and these are just signs of things to come. Because, you got these emergency laws that have been put into place, 30 days over there in Canada, which give the police a certain amount of powers. When you check the legislations that are being passed through, these Western governments, an example being, you got the new, the police bill over here in the UK that's going through Parliament right now. And if that gets approved, pretty much it gives sweeping powers to the police to disband anything that they consider, a protest that takes away the peace. Which, when we go on the highways and byways, and we're speaking on the judgment that's going to come upon this kingdom. Okay, that's taking away their peace. So you can tell, man, that we're in the time. We're coming into the time. We're approaching a time of the famine of the hearing of the word. We're approaching the time of martial law. We're approaching the time of Jacob's trouble. Martial law being what? The civil liberties being, in a sense, how can I word this? Cancelled. And, it's martial law. It's military law, man. All right. Now, wartime. You see what's the tensions that's happening over there in the Ukraine situation. Okay. And you know what? All the shows is how close we are to the Revelation 13 and 16 scripture being fulfilled, because that scripture must come to pass, okay, before this blows out into a full-scale World War III. Okay. But yeah, pretty much when you look at these articles, okay, there's one article that said they're going to freeze anti-mandates protesters' bank accounts. Starting with our apostles and elders, we've been telling you for the longest, okay, about that, man. Freezing bank accounts, all of that. Okay. People go into their bank accounts and it's been emptied out. These things are going to happen, man. All right. Because we're going into the time of prophecy, such as 2 Ezra 15, and the Apostle Tar said, that this may be the year where you're going to start seeing this being fulfilled, man. All right, now let's read a little bit about this, read a little bit of the scriptures, okay, and show you that that's a time that we're fastly approaching, man. All right, and that's all in the scriptures. It's all prophecy, right? This is 2 Ezra chapter 15, verse 14. It says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein." Okay, woe meaning destruction. That's what's coming. It says, because ultimately what's going to happen is the missiles are going to be shot to America and different places around the world, man. Okay. It says, "For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh." What's the ultimate sword? The ultimate sword is what? The missiles. Okay. But hey, before that, you're gonna have what? The troops. You're gonna have a lot of death, man. All right. It says, "And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands." Because people are gonna be going at each other, man. All right. During that mayhem, that carnage of Jacob's trouble. It says, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power," because they're going to be inciting what? Rebellion against the government, man. All right. These different laws and mandates that the governments are passing, these unrighteous decrees, pursuant to Isaiah the 10th chapter. All right. The people are going to start getting frustrated and they're going to start fighting back. So what do you think is going to be the response, okay, to these protests and to these uprisings of the people, the uproars of the people, pursuant to 2 Ezra 9? Martial law, man. Bring in the military. That's what's going to ultimately happen. Now it says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. And in a sense, during these lockdowns, that happened. Travel was barred. You couldn't go move there. You couldn't go there. But even more so in a time of martial law, like you see in these post-apocalyptic movies, you see what cordoned off areas. Okay, where you can't go from one city to another city, for example. Okay, why? Because there's a military blockade there. All right, military convoy. They might be checking papers. They might check that. Well, like in the movie Songbird and what's another example? In Time, Hunger Games. You got all these borders, man. All right, and you got to go past some kind of check to get through. It says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, man. Okay, martial law. It says, because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Men are going to be afraid, man, because of the terror that's coming upon these cities, these death traps. Okay? And these cities are packed with people. They're packed with people. And you know what's funny? Like you see in these zombie movies, right? Like in The Walking Dead. The cities are always massive death traps. They don't like to go. The characters in the shows don't like to go to the cities because of the population of the cities. There's so many people there. In these zombie movies, obviously, because they turn into zombies, there's so many zombies that it's dangerous, And that just shows you that, what we know already, which is the cities are packed, man. So when you get that much people packed into one place, okay, and you start taking away the food, you start hammering down on the people, that those places are going to become death traps. Okay? It says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. See? There ain't going to be no pity upon their neighbor, man. All right? But shall destroy their houses with the sword. Okay, what's the modern day sword? A gun. All right? It says, and spoil their goods. Why are they going to spoil their goods? Why are they going to go in there and start taking their shit? Because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. Because it's going to be a time, okay, where Esau, he's going to make sure that, that food ain't coming through. We were talking about the military convoys, the blockades. Okay, if Esau says, look, this food ain't coming into this place, then that place, which is basically siege warfare tactics, if that happens now, then the people in that place are fucked. Okay, especially in these cities, because you ain't growing nothing in the cities, man, to sustain. Okay, like everyone goes to they rely on the supermarket. They rely on the trucks coming into the supermarket, delivering, making a delivery, and for them to go to the supermarket and buy what they need to buy. It's not like when you're out in a village somewhere and you got all these farmlands around you. Okay, and it's funny because like different brothers that have had dreams. Okay, what do they always mention? They always mention like some of them have mentioned, in that time they've gone to farms and they've got food from there, or the farmers blessed them up in the dreams, giving them a horse, things of that nature, man. And that's beautiful because in the kind of time that we're going to go into. Okay. Now, what did the Lord say in Isaiah 65? Okay, let's read that. This is Isaiah chapter 65, verse 13. It says, therefore, thus saith the Lord, power, Yahweh Shemel Shai, behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Now, those of us that are serving Yahweh Shemel Shai in sincerity and truth, okay, the elect, all right, because we are the hopeful elect, we have faith in that. The elect are going to be looked after, man. Okay? The elect are going to be eaten. But those out there that aren't defended, that, aren't seeking after Yahweh Shemel Shai, aren't repenting, okay, that are not doing the right things, that the Lord ain't with them, they're going to be left out there, man. Okay, without that hedge, without that protection. And in a time of Jacob's trouble, they ain't going to be protected. Now, the elect are going to be protected, man, as we read. So even though whatever situation you're in, you're going to be looked after, you're going to be fed. And there's many examples of that. When you look at, for example, Elijah being fed by ravens when he was on the run. Daniel being fed, okay, in the lion's den. There's all different examples in the scriptures of the servants of the Lord being protected. All right. Now this is Jeremiah chapter 30 verse 7. It says, alas, and that's the balance. Okay, there's such a great destruction coming, which we're about to read this. There's such a great destruction that's coming. Okay, that's why this is about being of the elect. This is, you want to be saved, man, from this coming destruction. All right. This is Jeremiah chapter 30 verse 7. It says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. A time like never before, like in Daniel 12 chapter the first verse. This is going to be, and remember, man, this is before the kingdom of heaven, before eternal righteousness is ruling supreme. You know, this is going to be that final, you know, Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, man. This is where wickedness is exceedingly polluted the earth. You know, the wicked are in rulership. All right, we've been going through all these different captivities as a people. And now is the time of our salvation where we're going to be set up. You know, and remember, this is the Lord's movie. This is that, like, climactic end for Esau, man. Because after this, he's going to serve 1,000 years of slavery, okay? And then be put to death, man. They're going to be eradicated. So this time now that we're going into, man, is going to be a great tribulation, right? It says so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, you tribes, okay? But he shall be saved out of it. Who's the he? Okay? The elect. Because the elect are going to come out of the nation of Israel, man. You ain't going to have the elect out of, you know, Edom or Ishmael or Moab. Okay? Those that are elected for salvation out of the nation of Israel. Because ultimately, all Israel are going to be good in the kingdom. Okay? The Lord's people is the Israelites, man. You so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And anyone else that descends back to the man called Jacob, man. All right. It says, for it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck. Who's got a yoke on their neck? The Israelites. Who went through hardcore slavery? Who's in, you know, who went through chattel slavery? Who's in slavery today? And will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him. But they shall serve serve the Lord their power, and David their king. Ooh. Okay, so the Lord's going to raise up David, man. Okay, King Marshal, whom I will raise up unto them. Therefore fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith the Lord. Neither be dismayed, O Israel, for lo, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed from the land of their captivity. The Lord's coming with them ships, okay, to save us, man. To protect us, to come down into thy chambers, and to the indignation be overpassed. Okay, the Lord's indignation, the missiles, man, that destruction. It says, and Jacob shall return and shall be in rest and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid. Where's our rest? Is this our rest? No. This is not our rest, man, pursuant to Micah 2:10. So when is going to be, when are we going to be in rest? When we're in the kingdom. That's when we're going to be at rest, man. And until then, we're going to continually, be doing these videos and crying unto Yahweh Shemiel Shai for salvation, man. All right? Because you can see, you just type in, you look at the news, man, and you know what? You just see that things are heating up more and more, man, globally, you know? So with that, man, I'm going to say, Lord, that was an edifying lesson in the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemiel Shai B'Hashem Makakadash. With that, shalom. Shalom to the elect.